So Virtual Boy Nintendo Classics has been out on Switch Online for about 2 weeks now, and I've been playing it off and on since then. I tried out every game on the service and fully played through Virtual Boy Wario Land, so I wanted to give my thoughts on this, as well as my thoughts on playing Virtual Boy games in their intended way to be played. And overall, it's pretty interesting. I think this launch lineup is actually fairly solid. Ideally, we should have gotten every game on here at launch. It is really weird that they are doing a drip feed with Virtual Boy games. But even then, I do feel like this lineup actually had some good games in here, especially Virtual Boy Wario Land. I mean, this is an essential Virtual Boy game, a very fun game, actually one of my favorite Wario Land games. Peloro Boxer is also pretty fun as well. I feel like it actually kind of feels like a VR game, since you're basically playing it in first person. The Mansion of Innsmouth is also first person as well, and is kind of a horror game, and that's also pretty fun as well. You kind of have to like navigate through the mansion, find a key, and then make your way up to like the next floors and take out the monsters. I think that game is surprisingly underrated. Red Alarm is also pretty fun. It actually works really well in 3D. I heard that this game kind of looks weird when you're playing it in 2D, so I guess the best way for this game to be played is actually the intended method. So Red Alarm is actually pretty fun. It's kind of similar to Star Fox, but also kind of different at the same time. I feel like structurally, the game is definitely kind of different. Golf is also pretty interesting as well. It's definitely a different take on like a classic golf game, since you actually like change your direction and different things in like multiple different ways. Then there's 3D Tetris, which was just okay, nothing to write home about, but you basically clear out these planes rather than lines, and the blocks are shaped differently than Tetris. And apparently, it only released in North America originally, which is pretty interesting. It was planned to have a Japanese release, but was cancelled. And interestingly, that Japanese release was gonna have a different name. So I'm wondering if they just called it Tetris to market it in North America. It is fairly similar to Tetris, but I feel like it is different enough that you could title it something else. But it was just kind of meh. And then finally, we have Galactic Pinball, which was actually developed by Intelligent Systems, the same developers as Paper Mario and Fire Emblem, which is pretty interesting. And this game is pretty fun. I am kind of a sucker for pinball games. I even like Mario Pinball Land on the Game Boy Advance, and this game was pretty fun. I definitely played this game for quite a while on like some of the different stages, and I really enjoyed it. I definitely feel like the 3D effects worked really well here. But overall, I like the lineup here. Most of the games here are actually surprisingly good. I feel like I was gaslit into thinking that most of the games on this system were horrible, but there are actually a lot of hidden gems here. And now I want to talk about my experience of playing these games in their intended method. I used the cardboard headset since I didn't want to pay $100 for the plastic one. Overall, the quality of the cardboard headset isn't too bad. It's a little better than the Labo VR headset, but playing these games in VR is very interesting. It's not quite as bad as I thought, though the red visuals are pretty jarring and doesn't look great. The 3D effect is cool, but it would be nice if you could just switch it to black and white, or like just another color. Just red just looks very jarring, but it actually wasn't migraine inducing. I feel like if you get the IPD settings correct, it isn't too bad. Like, I was actually playing it for like 45 minutes to an hour in one sitting, and just when I took it off, it felt like I woke up from taking a nap. That's actually the same experience that Demeech had when playing Virtual Boy games. So it's pretty interesting. It isn't actually that bad, it just is very weird. It's kind of hard to describe unless you actually try it for yourself. I haven't experienced anything else like this before, and I've tried out multiple different versions of VR before. Like, I have an Oculus Rift S headset that was before they changed the name to Meta, as well as Labo VR, and those are very different from the Virtual Boy. The Virtual Boy's 3D almost feels like the 3DS in a way, but more practical. It's really interesting overall. I feel like it has some pros and cons to it. And I wouldn't say it's an inherently negative experience. Like, the games themselves are actually fun. The red visuals are just kind of jarring and just looks kind of bad. But it is still fun overall. Like, it's just a weird experience. But I'm surprised that Nintendo actually re-released these games and actually did something fairly significant with the Virtual Boy. It kind of seemed like Nintendo just completely forgot about it and wanted to bury it in the past. So it's really cool that they actually gave people a way to play these games in their intended method, though it's unfortunate that you need to use a headset to play these games, since it would have been nice to play some of them in 2D. I know some of them like Red Alarm work much better in 3D, but something like Virtual Boy Wario Land is just fine in 2D. And it's also unfortunate that this is tied to a subscription service, especially since you're also paying for these headsets as well. It would have been nice if they like bundled these games for you to like own them outright along with these headsets. That kind of would have been a preferred option here. But it is nice that they re-release these games and you're able to experience them in a more accessible way. But anyways, let me know what you think of the Virtual Boy down in the comments, and thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!